Hello and welcome back to the Smash Archive, the series where we look at every game franchise represented in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. For this video, we'll be looking at a pair of Nintendo RPGs which have both had a storied history of struggling to release across all regions, as we take a look at EarthBound and Xenoblade Chronicles. Given we're going to be looking at fairly lengthy RPGs, with some of the content in Smash referring to very late game events, I'm going to give a spoiler warning for all the games I'll be talking about today, those being all 3 games in the EarthBound Orb Mother trilogy, as well as Xenoblade Chronicles 1, Cross, and 2. So if you want to avoid getting spoiled on these games, use the chapter select or timestamps in the description to skip those sections. With that out of the way, let's get started with EarthBound. During a visit to Nintendo, Shigesato Itoi, a copywriter who was fairly famous in Japan for his work across various mediums, pitched the idea of an RPG set in the modern day to Shigeru Miyamoto, feeling that the setting would be a unique choice for an RPG, which at this point were almost always in a fantasy setting, as it would remove the pretense for magic and they couldn't give the plant child protagonist guns, with the game being developed by Itoi's own company, Ape Inc., who after ceasing game development in 1995 would effectively end up reforming as Creatures Inc., the company responsible for the Pokemon trading card game. The game would release in Japan in July of 1989, for the Famicom under the name Mother, with the game following a group of kids travelling across the land to find the 8 melodies as per the request of Mary, the queen of a dreamlike world called Magicant, in the process helping combat an invasion from an alien force led by a creature named Gygus. Upon its release, Mother would become the 6th best-selling game of 1989 in Japan, the game receiving a lot of praise for its gameplay as well as its writing and world being able to stand on its own, whilst also doubling as a parody of most RPGs at the time. Whilst a localized version of the game was a plan to release in 1991 under the title EarthBound, due to marketing delays and the release of the Super Nintendo, it was ultimately scrapped. However, this translation did end up leaking online in 1998 after some prototype cartridges was discovered, the ROM being given the fan name of EarthBound Zero, with the game not receiving an official international release until 2015 via the Wii U Virtual Console, where it was named EarthBound Beginnings. As this was the start of the series, there's a good amount of stuff from Beginnings. To start off, we have the stage Magicant, which is primarily based off the version of Magicant in EarthBound Beginnings, though it does also incorporate a few elements from EarthBound, where Magicant was a dream world from within Ness's mind. During the fight, several characters and objects from both games can appear, the most prominent being a flying man, a muscular bird creature which can act as a temporary party member in both iterations of Magicant, with him assisting the fighter that touches him first. If the flying man is killed, a gravestone will appear next to his house, with another flying man coming out soon after, with them no longer appearing if 5 flying men have been killed, this being something carried over from both games he appears in. On top of that, Dungeon Man, a temporary party member from EarthBound who joins the group in Scarabar's desert, occasionally walks past underneath the stage to act as an additional platform. Then both the main and left platforms can have appearances from the trees from Magicant, which can be stood on, a mobile sprout, an early game enemy from EarthBound, which can be rode on whilst it walks back and forth, the Sky Runner, a ship from EarthBound created by Dr. Donuts, which is initially used to save Ness and Paula from the graveyard in Threed, giant tomatoes from EarthBound's Magicant, which sink through the floor, and an octopus statue which would block your path in EarthBound and need to be removed with the octopus eraser machine, which behaves the same as the tomato. Interestingly enough, despite the statue being swapped to a giant pencil, which is erased with a giant eraser in the international version, all versions of Smash use the octopus statue. Finally, the background will sometimes tear and show scenes from both EarthBound Beginnings and EarthBound, namely Ninten outside of his house with his dog Mick, Ninten meeting Lloyd on the Twinkle elementary school roof, Ness and Paula travelling through Threed, Ness, Paula, Jeff and Pooh at the Lumion Hall Sanctuary, and Ness, Paula, Jeff and Pooh walking around the Face Distorter 2 in Saturn Valley. Next is 6 music tracks, with a melee remix of Pollyanna I Believe in You, the overworld theme when Ninten has no party members, and when he reaches the XX stone atop Mount Etoy, with the song becoming the unofficial theme of the EarthBound series. A brawl remix of Humoresque of a Little Dog, the music that plays whilst inside drug and department stores. Two versions of Magicant's theme, with a Smash 4 remix which also contains the 8 melodies, and a new remix. A melee remix of Being Friends, the overworld theme when you have a party member. With the track also containing the 8 melodies, the title screen music, and a brief sample of the standard enemy encounter theme. And a Brawl remix of the theme for the town Snowman. There's the item Franklin badge, a badge which can deflect PK Beam Gamma, an attack which is typically a one-hit kill move, with later games having it reflect all lightning attacks. In Smash, whilst wearing a Franklin badge, all projectiles that would hit a fighter get reflected. In addition, we have the assist trophy Starman, a race of aliens that serve in Gygas's army in the first two Earthbound games. When summoned, Starman will teleport around the stage and shoot enemies with two variations of PK Beam, namely PK Beam Gamma, which is shot as a single beam, and PK Beam Omega, where it shoots a barrage of beams in all directions. If a Starman is killed, he's sent flying with a smash graphic, which appears when landing a critical hit throughout the series. After that is a Mii Brawler costume based on the Flying Man, which, like their stage appearance, is specifically based on their sprite from Earthbound. Finally, there's 7 spirits. Number 565, Nin-10, a 2-slot legend primary grab spirit with the effect PSI attack up. The game's main protagonist who starts the journey after being attacked by a lamp and baby doll possessed by poltergeists. In addition to possessing various support PSI skills, he can fight enemies using baseball bats and slingshots. Number 566, Anna, a 2-slot ace support spirit which lets you start the battle with a Franklin badge. A girl from the town Snowman who joins the party in an attempt to find her mother who's gone missing. She possesses PSI powers like Nin-10, but unlike him, she learns various offensive PSI skills. Number 567, Lloyd, a 2-slot ace primary grab spirit with the effect electric attack up. A boy from Marysville who ends up befriending Nin-10 when he finds Lloyd hiding from potential bullies in a trash can on the roof of the Twinkle Elementary School. Lloyd has no PSI abilities but can fight enemies using mechanical objects and explosives. Number 568, Teddy, a 1-slot advanced primary attack spirit. The leader of the Blah Blah gang who challenges Nin-10 to a fight, though after losing he joins Nin-10 as a temporary party member, with him wanting to climb Mount Etoy to avenge his parents who died there, with him leaving when during the climb up he gets severely injured by a giant robot. Number 569, Eve, a 1-slot ace primary shield spirit. A giant robot built by Nin-10's great-grandfather with the goal of protecting Nin-10, with them serving as a temporary party member during the climb up Mount Etoy, with Eve being able to one-hit kill most regular enemies thanks to having HP, offense, and defense stats of 999. Number 570, Flying Man, a 3-slot ace primary attack spirit with the effect initial damage 30%. The artwork comes from Smash for 3DS, which was the game to introduce the Magicant stage. And number 571, Starman, a 2-slot advanced primary grab spirit with the effect PSI attack up. The spirit art is original to Smash Ultimate. After a 5-year development cycle and several close cancellations, Mother 2 released in 1994 for the Super Famicom, taking place several years after the events of the first game in the fictional country of Eagle Land, a parody of the United States of America, where after a meteorite crashes in the mountains near a town called Onnet, a boy called Ness finds out he must travel across the lands to gather 8 melodies in order to preemptively stop another invasion from Gygas. Unlike the previous game, Mother 2 would see release in America under the name EarthBound, the planned name for Mother 1's localization. Unfortunately, the game ended up bombing outside Japan, the primary blame being a poorly executed marketing campaign including scratch and sniff pages in magazines and proclamations of "this game stinks," the campaign ultimately costing Nintendo $2 million. Due to its poor performance in America and the Super Nintendo being phased out not too long after its English release in 1995, EarthBound wouldn't see an official European release until 2013 as a virtual console title for the Wii U. Despite this, EarthBound still managed to gather a cult following outside Japan, with the game being particularly influential within the modern RPG scene, acting as inspiration for titles such as South Park: The Stick of Truth, the Lisa series, and Undertale. Due to EarthBound easily being the most well-known entry in the series, there's a lot of content from this game. First, we have fighter number 10, Ness, a boy with PSI powers from Onett who serves as EarthBound's main protagonist, with him being prophesized to defeat Gygus along with 2 other boys and a girl. In addition to various PSI skills, he can combat enemies using baseball bats and yo-yos. Next is 2 stages, the first of these being Onett, the first town in the game where Ness lives. The fight specifically taking place outside the drugstore where Ness can buy items, deposit or withdraw money with the ATM, or use the payphone to save the game. In the original game, the store was sat next to a burger shop, though Smash instead has it sat between a blue house that resembles some of the regular houses in Onett, and a yellow house which has the color palette of some of the other houses, but has a unique design. On top of the house's roofs, fighters can stand on the branches of the trees behind the yellow house, the banners above the blue house, as well as the drugstore's awnings, which will collapse when fighters land on them 7 times, due to the drugstore sign falling, with them both being restored after a short while. During the fight, players need to watch out for speeding cars that can run over fighters, the vehicles specifically being regular red and blue cars, a taxi cab, and the Runaway 5's tour bus. Finally, in the stage's background, it's possible to see a hospital, a hotel, a backhoe which resembles the one seen in Dusty Doom Desert, as well as mountains which feature Ness and Porky's houses, and the meteorite which crashes near Onett at the start of the game, with there also being a bulletin board and arcade that are just off camera. The second stage is Fourside, the 4th town Ness visits, which is based on New York City. However, due to the Smash stage being set at nighttime, it more so resembles the dark parallel version of Fourside named Moonside. The fight takes place on the roofs of 3 buildings, the center one being directly based on the Monotoli building, one of the tallest buildings in the city where Fourside's mayor works, with it also featuring a helipad where a yellow helicopter occasionally lands. This being the helicopter Porky steals after it was offered to Ness's group to get to their next location. In addition, the roof of the building on the left resembles Fourside's dinosaur museum, though it's not a skyscraper and isn't that close to the Monotoli building in EarthBound, with there also being a crane above the left building holding a platform fighters can stand on. The building on the right is original to Smash, though there are a few details hidden around, the most notable being a clothesline with an orange Hawaiian shirt and sunglasses, referencing the character Everdread. Finally, a large UFO will occasionally appear and serve as an extra platform, with its design and the sound it makes when appearing being directly based on the UFOs from EarthBound's opening sequence. Then there's 4 music tracks, with a Smash 4 remix which contains the themes for Onett, and the theme for Winters. versions of Foreside's theme, which both incorporate parts of the 8 melodies, with a Melee remix, and a new remix. And a Smash 4 remix of Smiles and Tears, a rendition of the 8 melodies which plays during the credits, with the song also including the 8 melodies from EarthBound Beginnings. Following that is 2 items. Mr. Saturn, a race of creatures from Saturn Valley which speak in broken English with their dialogue having a unique font based on a child's handwriting. Ness's group having to save them from Master Belch. In Smash, they slowly walk across the ground, with it being possible to grab and throw them at other fighters, with them dealing little damage but possessing the ability to instantly break shields. And Ramblin' Evil Mushroom, an enemy which appears on the paths to Tucson and Peaceful Rest Valley, which can cause Ness's party to gain the Mushroomized status ailment, which messes up movement controls in the overworld. In Smash, a player can grab the Ramblin' Evil Mushroom to spray other fighters with its spores, which eventually cause the affected fighter to have their controls reversed. On top of that is the assist trophy Jeff, a boy attending a school in Winters who joins the party after receiving a telepathic message from Paula asking for help to save her and Ness from Threed. When summoned, Jeff will attack fighters by launching bottle rockets at them, these being a battle item from EarthBound which acted as Jeff's signature weapon. After that is a Mii hat based on Mr. Saturn. In addition to being saved from Master Belch, the Mr. Saturns help Dr. Donuts build the phase distorter in order for Ness's group to travel back in time to kill Gygus. To end off, there's 10 spirits. Number 563, Ness, a fighter spirit. If you couldn't tell from his similar design and weapons, Ness is basically EarthBound's version of Ninten from EarthBound Beginnings. Number 572, Paula, a 3-slot legend primary shield spirit with the effect PSI attack up. A girl from Tucson with psychic powers who is saved by and accompanies Ness after she was captured by Mr. Carpainter, the leader of the Happy Happyism cult. And based on her similar design, personality, and specializing in offensive PSI abilities, she's effectively EarthBound's version of Anna from the previous game. Number 573, Jeff, a 2-slot Legend Support Spirit with the effect Jam FS Charge. Continuing from the last two party members, since Jeff has no PSI abilities and relies on technology to combat enemies, Jeff is EarthBound's counterpart to Lloyd. Number 574, Pooh, a 2-slot Ace Primary Shield Spirit with the effect PSI Attack Up. The Prince of Dalam who undergoes Moo training under the guidance of the Star Master, allowing him to learn Teleport to reach the other 3 party members in Summers, and later on the powerful attack PK Starstorm. Number 575, Buzz, a 3-slot Novice Primary Attack Spirit with the effect Initial Damage 30%. A bug-like creature which travels back in time by 10 years via a meteorite, with him being how Ness finds out about his destiny to defeat Gygus and effectively causing the events of the game to happen. Number 576, Ness's father, a 2-slot Legend Support Spirit with the effect Running Start. This being the person Ness calls in order to save the game, along with him being the one who gives Ness an ATM card. He never appears on screen, hence why his spirit art is just a phone. Number 577, Mr. Saturn, a 1-slot Ace Support Spirit with the effect Shield Damage Up. The Mr. Saturns also appear in Mother 3, where Lucas's group end up saving them from the Pig Mask army during the game's 7th chapter. Number 578, Dungeon Man, a 1-slot Advanced Support Spirit with the effect Falling Immunity. The fusion of a dungeon and a dungeon builder named Brick Road, who helped as a temporary party member through Scarabar Desert, with him also containing a vehicle collection inside him, which is where Ness's group get the yellow submarine needed to reach Deep Darkness. Number 579, Ramblin' Evil Mushroom, a 1-slot Novice Support Spirit which lets you start the battle with a Ramblin' Evil Mushroom. The spirit art is original to Smash Ultimate. And number 580, Master Belch, a 3-slot Advanced Primary Neutral Spirit with the effect Speed Down, a sentient pile of vomit that works for Gygus, Master Belch being responsible for both releasing zombies into Threed and kidnapping several Mr. Saturns, serving as a boss being fought in Belch's base. After the release of EarthBound, Mother 3 would start development on the Super Nintendo in 1994. However, the game would then shift over to the N64 under the localized name EarthBound 64, before being moved from a regular N64 game to one for the N64 disc drive, a Japan-exclusive add-on to play disc-based games, only for the game to get scrapped altogether in 2000, reportedly so Nintendo could have more resources for what would eventually become the GameCube. 3 years later, Mother 3 was then confirmed to be coming to the Game Boy Advance, the announcement being a slide on the end of commercials for a Japan-exclusive GBA compilation of the first 2 games, with Mother 3 finally releasing in 2006. However, despite the game becoming a bestseller in Japan, due to it releasing at the end of the GBA's lifespan, with Nintendo wanting to focus on their next handheld, the DS, the game never saw an official release outside Japan, with Shigesato Itoi also stating he's not interested in making a 4th entry due to him viewing the series as a complete trilogy. Despite Nintendo still not doing an official localized release after almost 2 decades, a fan translation patch of the game was released on the site starman.net in 2008, which received over 100,000 downloads the day it was released, with Mother 3 going on to be viewed as not only the best entry in the series, but one of the best RPGs of all time. Due to its legacy, there's a good amount of content from Mother 3. To begin, we have fighter number 37, Lucas, Mother 3's main protagonist, who is playable briefly during the prologue before becoming an NPC until the 3-year time skip that leads into chapter 4. Lucas is a young boy with psychic powers who is a lot more timid compared to Ninten and Ness, this mostly being brought on due to him having to experience his mother dying and his twin brother disappearing at a young age, the game seeing Lucas fight the Pig Mask army in a race to pull the 7 needles to stop them from destroying the world. Then we have the stage New Pork City, a large area based on the central location of Mother 3's final chapter. The actual stage layout and platforms are Smash original, with the background being an almost direct copy of the sprites used for the city in Mother 3, albeit enlarged and more cramped, keeping the presentation of most of the buildings just being wooden billboards by making most of it 2D, with it also being possible to spot the flying limousine which brought Lucas's party to the city flying in the background, with it also sometimes acting as a platform at the bottom of the stage. The only other notable things platform-wise are a swinging pendulum platform modelled after the Viking ride in the city's amusement park, a breakable platform at the bottom, and some of the platforms featuring the logo of the Pig Mask army. Occasionally, a creature called the Ultimate Chimera will appear randomly on the stage, with any player that gets near it being instantly KO'd. This being based on how touching the Ultimate Chimera in Mother 3 would result in an instant game over. Next is 4 music tracks, all of which are Brawl remixes. Mother 3 Love Theme, which plays during the prologue and is arguably the game's main theme. With the track also including the music which plays when Hanawa dies. Track which contains 2 boss themes, namely Unfounded Revenge, which is used for the fight against the fierce Pork Trooper, and Smashing Song of Praise from the Steel Mecharilla fight. You call this a utopia, the theme for New Pork City. Porky's theme, a remix of 2 tracks associated with the Pigmask army. His Highness's theme, and Logotype. Finally, there's 11 spirits. Number 564, Lucas, a fighter spirit. In terms of combat, Lucas is fairly similar to Ninten and Ness, having a mix of support-based PSI skills and physical attacks. Though instead of using baseball bats, Lucas fights with sticks. Number 581, Flint, a 1-slot advanced primary attack spirit. Lucas's father, who acts as the lead protagonist during the first chapter, which sees him end up as Tazmily Village's first prisoner after he started to lash out and attack some of the other villagers upon hearing that his wife Hanawa was killed by a Mecha Drago. The chapter then seeing him escape to try and find his other son Klaus after he claimed he was going to hunt down the Drago for revenge. Number 582, Hanawa, a 2-slot legend support spirit with the effect critical immunity. Lucas's mother, who as mentioned is killed off screen by the Mecha Drago in the game's first chapter, her death resulting in Flint becoming obsessed with visiting and leaving flowers at her grave, Klaus to set out to get vengeance for her, and Lucas to become even more of a shut-in than he already was. Number 583, Boney, a 2-slot novice primary neutral spirit. Lucas's pet dog, who serves as a party member during the opening part of Chapter 1, as well as from Chapter 4 onwards, Boney possessing the unique ability Sniff, allowing him to find out an enemy's type, a PSI weakness, and a resistance. Number 584, Duster, a 1-slot novice primary attack spirit with the effect Foot Attack Up. A thief from Tazmily Village who uses various tools like wall staples and a rope snake. He serves as the lead for Chapter 2, where he explores Osahei Castle to get the Egg of Light. After falling victim to some traps in the castle, Duster ends up getting amnesia and becomes the bassist for the band DCMC under the name Lucky, with him later joining Lucas's group to rediscover the Egg of Light, with him getting his memory back by Chapter 5. Number 585, Kumatora, a 2-slot advanced primary attack spirit with the effect PSI Attack Up. A teenage girl who was raised by the Magypsies, with them having also taught her how to use PSI powers. She first helps Duster during his second trip to Osahei Castle, along with helping Salsa's escape in Chapter 3, before joining up with Lucas to get Duster in Chapter 4. Number 586, Salsa, a 1-slot novice primary grab spirit, a monkey captured by the Pigmask army who is forced by one of their high-ranking members, Facade, into doing performances to help sell happy boxes to Tazmily Village, with Salsa acting as the lead character for Chapter 3. Number 587, Ultimate Chimera, a 1-slot ace support spirit with the effect Critical Hit Up, a chimera that was accidentally let loose in the Chimera Laboratory, which will kill Lucas instantly if he touches it, the only way to stop the Chimera being to press the off button on its back, with it later reappearing in the Empire Pork building in New Pork City. Number 588, Absolutely Safe Capsule, a slotless legend primary shield spirit, a capsule the game's main antagonist Porky seals himself in during his boss fight, which protects him from any kind of damage, but also makes it so he can't get out or harm anything on the outside, trapping Porky in there for all eternity due to him being immortal. Number 589, Masked Man, a a 2-slot Ace primary attack spirit with the effect Sword Attack Up, the commander of the Pigmask army who is primarily used by Porky as a vessel to end the world, as the masked man is the only person other than Lucas capable of using PK Love, and in turn pull out the 7 needles. And number 590, Klaus, a 3-slot legend primary neutral spirit. Lucas's brother who goes missing in chapter 1 after trying to get revenge on the Drago that killed his mother, with it being revealed at the end of the game he was captured and brainwashed by the Pigmask army into becoming the Masked Man. And that's everything from the EarthBound series. For the rankings of representation, EarthBound is the 16th most represented series in Smash, putting it above Star Fox and Kid Icarus, but below Tekken. Now let's take a look at the Xenoblade series. Xenoblade Chronicles is an action RPG which originally released for the Wii, with the game being made by Monolith Soft, with the Xenoblade series being a spiritual continuation of the team's previous work on the Xenosaga series, which in itself was a spiritual continuation of the Squaresoft game Xenogears, all 3 of which had the same director and scenario writer Tetsuya Takahashi, the game taking place on the frozen bodies of 2 giant entities called Bionis and Mechonis, with the societies living on both entities being in a perpetual war with one another. Whilst the game managed to release in Japan and Europe just fine, for a while there was no confirmation of a US release, this not being helped when, despite the game being announced at E3 2009, there was no trailer for the final game at following E3 shows, with the marketing manager for Nintendo France even claiming Nintendo of America denied Nintendo of Europe's request to show the game at E3 2011. This ended up leading to Project Rainfall, a fan campaign that was formed as an effort to get Xenoblade, as well as The Last Story and Pandora's Tower, released in America. And whilst people within Nintendo have denied that these fan campaigns were directly responsible, Xenoblade would end up getting a US release in 2012. Xenoblade would end up getting high reviews and sold fairly well, with it ironically selling better in the West than it did in Japan, with the game later seeing 2 re-releases, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D in 2015, which was the first game exclusive to the new 3DS line of systems, and Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, which was an expanded remaster for the Nintendo Switch, which updated the art style and graphics to be more in line with Xenoblade 2, along with adding an epilogue scenario called Future Connected. As Xenoblade was one of the last big releases for the Wii, there's a good amount of content from this game. First we have fighter number 57, Shulk, Xenoblade 1's main protagonist, Shulk being a young scientist who works for the Colony 9 Defense Force, with him mainly studying the Monado, a sword which is the only weapon known to be capable of damaging mechons, with him then using the Monado himself when the colony is attacked by a horde of mechon led by Metalface, Shulk being the only person known to be capable of using the sword other than its previous wielder, Dunban. In addition to his default outfit, which is based on his regular outfit from Xenoblade 1, he also has an alternate costume based on his appearance when wearing the swimsuit armor, or when he has no armor equipped. Next is the stage Gua Plain, a large open field and mountainous area on the western Bionis's leg, the stage taking place on various cliffs in the area, with the Mechonis being visible in the background, albeit with Smash moving it further into the background than it appears in Xenoblade. The only real stage hazard is, at night time, the stage has a chance of being attacked by one of the game's major antagonists, Metalface, who attacks fighters with its claws and lasers, the latter of which can also destroy some of the stage's platforms. Metalface can be KO'd, where upon doing so he begins exploding, with the explosion damaging all fighters except the one who landed the final hit. Then there's 8 music tracks. Engage the Enemy, which plays during various cutscenes. Time to Fight, the regular battle theme on Bionis. Versions of the theme for Gua Plain, which plays in the Bionisys Lake region and Colony 6, with the daytime version and the nighttime version. A Smash 4 medley which contains the songs Gua Plain, Mechanical Rhythm, You Will Know Our Names, and Engage the Enemy. An Obstacle in Our Path, the regular boss theme. Know Our Names, the battle theme for unique monsters and a few select boss fights. And Mechanical Rhythm, the regular battle theme on the Fallen Arm and Mechonis. that is the assist trophy Ricky, a no pawn who joined Shulk's party due to being assigned the position of hero pawn by the frontier village elder Dunga. When summoned, Ricky will randomly perform 4 arts out of a list of 6. Namely, Happy Happy, which raises speed and launch distance, Freezonate, which freezes nearby opponents, Yoink, which pulls items towards Ricky, Bedtime, which puts enemies to sleep, You Can Do It, which heals all fighters in a certain range, and Roly Poly, which causes grounded opponents to trip over. In addition, there's a Mii sword fighter costume based on Dunban, the previous user of the Monado who becomes unable to use it due to overuse, with Dunban being hailed as the hero of the Homs due to his involvement in the Battle of Sword Valley during the game's opening. Finally, there's 10 spirits. Number 951, Shulk, a fighter spirit. Shulk's reasoning for starting the journey is due to him wanting to get revenge on Metalface after the raid of Colony 9 causes the death of Fiora, with the Monado giving Shulk visions of where he should go, him finding that the visions are of changeable futures, not ones that are set in stone. Number 952, Fiora, a 1-slot ace support spirit with the effect Made of Metal. Shulk's love interest and Dunban's younger sister, who acts as a temporary party member before being killed by Metalface during the raid on Colony 9. Number 953, Mecha Fiora, a 3-slot legend primary neutral spirit with the effect Jump Up. Later in the game, it's revealed that instead of being killed, Fiora was instead turned into a Homs Mechon hybrid, which is used to pilot Face Nemesis. And whilst her body is initially controlled by a Mechonis agent, she regains control after being saved by Shulk's group, with her rejoining them as a party member. Number 954, Rhine, a 1-slot advanced primary grab spirit. Shulk's best friend and a soldier in training for the Colony 9 Defense Force, with him being the first person to join Shulk's journey to track down Metalface after Fiora's supposed death due to the 3 being childhood friends. Number 955, Sharla, a 1-slot advanced support spirit which lets you start the battle with a ray gun. A medic from Colony 6 who led an evacuation after they were attacked by Mechon, with her initially joining the group after Shulk has visions of Sharla's younger brother Juju being killed by Mechons, sticking with the group when she wants revenge for the Mechons killing most of Colony 6, as well as to hopefully find her fiancé. Number 956, Dunban, a 2-slot ace primary shield spirit with the effect Sword Attack Up. Dunban agrees to join Shulk's journey, though due to his injuries he doesn't properly join the group until after their trip through the Ether Mine near Colony 6, showing up with his friend Dixon to help the group when Metalface shows up with an army of Mechons. Number 957, Melia, a 3-slot advanced primary neutral spirit with the effect Magic Attack Up. The half-Hom daughter of the High Entier Emperor who was found by Shulk's group unconscious and on the verge of death due to ether depletion, with her joining the group after they help her defeat a large Telethea, these being pure blood High Entiers that become corrupt from coming into contact with high concentrations of ether. Number 958, Ricky, a master spirit who runs the strategist style dojo, which increases special attacks whilst decreasing standard, aerial, throw, pommel, and item attacks. After joining the party, it's revealed the only reason Ricky was made the hero pawn was due to him owing several debts from feasing his kids, with him later being told to stay with Shulk's group by Dunga as an excuse to get rid of him. Number 959, Mumkar, a 1-slot advanced primary attack spirit which can be enhanced at level 99. A Hom who was part of Dunban's unit during the Battle of Sword Valley, but ended up bailing halfway through with the plan of saving himself and then coming back to take the Monado if Dunban died, only for him to get ambushed by Mechons. And number 960, Metal Face, a 1-slot legend primary attack spirit with the effect Metal and Giant, the first face Mechon the group encounters during the raid on Colony 9, with him acting as a major antagonist for most of the game, with it later being revealed that it's being piloted by Mumkar, who unlike Fiora retained control of his body and still has his memories, with him solely acting out of his desire to own the Monado. Releasing in 2015 for the Wii U, Xenoblade Chronicles Cross is completely unconnected to both the previous and later installments in the Xenoblade series, the only real connections being the gameplay as well as the general themes and aesthetics, making it more of a spiritual sequel than a direct continuation of Xenoblade 1. The game takes place on the alien planet Myra, which humans have established as their new home after Earth was destroyed by war between alien races, with the main protagonist being a customizable character who joins a private military group called the Builders of the Legacy after the destruction of Earth, or Blade, to help recover people who went missing after the ship that was taking them to Myra crash-landed, the area now being called New Los Angeles. Whilst the game received a massive amount of praise from critics, the fan reception was more mixed, with them mainly taking issue how the game seemingly prioritized open world exploration over the narrative. Due to Xenoblade Cross being more of a side game, as well as it currently being the only entry not available on Switch, there's not much from this entry. The only things taken are 5 spirits. Number 961, Elmer, a 2-slot Ace primary attack spirit, a team leader of Blade who's the person that finds the avatar after the crash landing at the start of the game, with her having the set goal of recovering the Life Hold, the device on the ship which contained a majority of the human survivors. Number 962, Lyn, a 1-slot novice support spirit with the effect Energy Shot Resist Up, a mechanic for Blade who works in the Outfitters division, being involved in the development of large weaponized mechs called Skells. Number 963, Lao, a 1-slot novice primary grab spirit, the leader of a Blade Pathfinder team who ends up betraying the group after it's revealed that during the evacuation of Earth, everyone in his family was left behind to die, this event causing him to hate Blade and New Los Angeles. Number 964, Tatsu, a 1-slot novice support spirit with the effect Energy Shot Attack Up, a no-pawn that the Avatar character ends up saving after he was accidentally stored in a prone stronghold due to being mistaken for food, with him effectively serving as the game's comic relief, similar to Ricky in the first game. And number 965, Formula, a 2-slot advanced support spirit which lets you start the battle with a super scope, this being one of the light type scale units made by Blade, which can transform into a vehicle mode which resembles a motorcycle, with it arguably being the most well-known scale model in the game. Releasing near the end of 2017 for the Nintendo Switch, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 returned to the more narrative-focused progression of the first game, after the fan backlash to Cross's more mission-based structure, with the game also shifting to a more anime-like art style in order to help make the characters appear more emotive compared to the stiffer, realistic-looking designs from previous entries. The game is largely disconnected from Xenoblade 1, but the games are linked through the origin of their universes, with Xenoblade 2 taking place in the world of Alrest, a cloudy sky where people live on large creatures called Titans, with the world also containing core crystals, which can summon powerful beings called Blades, with the people who control a blade being referred to as a driver. The game follows a salvager called Rex, who ends up accidentally becoming the driver for the Aegis, a powerful blade which contains 2 personalities, with him agreeing to help them reach their home, Elysium, a paradise at the top of the World Tree, a large tree located at the center of Alrest. The game received massive praise from critics and would sell really well, managing to sell over 2.3 million copies by the end of 2021, making it not only the best-selling Xenoblade game, but the best-selling Monolith Soft game, with it also receiving various DLC expansions through 2018, including a story expansion which was later given a standalone release subtitled Torna: The Golden Country. As whilst Xenoblade 2 was both the best performing and most recent entry at the time of Ultimate's release, there is a lot of content from this game. To begin, we have fighters number 79 and 80, Pyra and Mithra, these being the two personalities from the Aegis Blade, which is the main blade used by Xenoblade 2's main protagonist, Rex. Pyra being more sweet and caring compared to Mithra's more brash and prickly personality. After that is the stage Cloud Sea of Orest, this being the large sea of clouds that makes up the world of Xenoblade 2, with the fight taking place on the back of a Zerda, a titan who allowed Rex to live on his back as they searched Orest for salvaging jobs, with Rex's home being seen in the background, which in the game gets destroyed when a Zerda is forced to revert into a larval state as a last resort to stay alive after being injured. Amongst the clouds, it's possible to see various other titans pop up, namely Goldmouth along with the Maelstrom, Gormott, Uriah, Morardane, Genbu, and Indol. In addition, pairs of drivers and blades can appear around Rex's house. The ones that can show up being Nia and Dromark, Tora and Poppy Alpha, Morag and Brigid, and Zeke and Pandoria. Next, we have 19 music tracks, with a new medley which contains the daytime themes for Argentum, the Gormott province, Kingdom of Uriah, Morardane, the Kingdom of Tantal, and the Leftherian Archipelago. The daytime theme for Argentum, a ship in a stormy sea, which plays whilst aboard the CSEV Maelstrom, inspiration, the regular battle theme for the ancient ship, Morardane's old factory, and the Spirit Crucible Elphys. Crossing Swords, the theme used for several story battles. Incoming, the regular boss theme. The daytime theme for the Gormott province. The regular battle theme. A new remix of various themes from the Tiger Tiger minigame. Deathmatch with Torna, which plays when fighting members of the Torna organization. who stand against our path, the unique monster theme for Gormott, Uriah, and the Land of Challenge. A new remix of Counterattack, which plays during several cutscenes. You will recall our names, the unique monster theme for Mor Ardain, Leftheria, Spirit Crucible Elphys, Temperantia, Tantal, Cliffs of Maritha, Land of Maritha, and World Tree. Driver versus the battle theme for enemy drivers and the optional super boss, Relentless Ardoran. Daytime theme for Mor Ardain. Bringer of Chaos Ultimate, Zeke's battle theme. Still move forward, the regular battle theme for the Cliffs of Maritha, Land of Maritha, and World Tree. Praetor Amalthus, the acting god, Amalthus's boss theme. and battle Torna, the regular battle theme from the Torna expansion. Then we have two sets of Mii costumes, with a Mii Brawler outfit based on Nia, a female Gormati who serves as one of the game's earliest party members, being a driver who was part of the same salvaging group Rex ends up joining at the start of the game, as well as a Mii Swordfighter costume based on Rex, Xenoblade 2's main protagonist, with the costume also having a cameo from a Zerda's larval form which appears in Rex's helmet on the back of the outfit. To end off, there's 16 spirits. Number 966, Rex, a 3-slot Ace primary shield spirit which can be enhanced at level 99. After joining a group of salvagers to explore an ancient ship, he discovers Pyra along with the Aegis Blade. However, he gets killed by the group's leader Jin the moment he touches the blade's core. Number 967, Pyra, a 1-slot legend support spirit with the effect Assist Killer. After Rex is killed, he meets Pyra in her memory of Elysium, with her offering to bring him back to life by giving him part of her core crystal in exchange for promising to take her to Elysium. Number 968, Mithra, a 2-slot legend support spirit with the effect Critical Hit Double Up. She first shows up during a near-death encounter towards the end of Chapter 3, with it being revealed that Mithra is actually the main personality, with Pyra effectively being the person Mithra wishes she could be. Number 969, Nia, a 2-slot Ace primary shield spirit with the effect Water Attack Up. After Rex is revived by Pyra, Nia ends up ditching her original group to help Rex, with them soon after having to save her when she gets captured by Ardanian soldiers assisted by the Special Inquisitor Morag. Number 970, Tora, a 3-slot advanced primary shield spirit, a Nopon from Gormos who dreams of becoming a driver despite his inability to do so, with him helping save Rex's group from the authorities and joins the group due to viewing Rex as a mentor since he's a driver, in exchange for helping save Nia. Number 971, Poppy Alpha, a 1-slot advanced support spirit with the effect Shooting Attack Up. Poppy is an artificial blade created by Tora due to his inability to use real blades, with Poppy Alpha being the first of 3 different forms Poppy can take throughout the game, with her proving to be crucial in saving Nia. Number 972, Morag, a 1-slot novice primary attack spirit with the effect Fire Attack Up, the sister of the Emperor of Mor Ardain and Special Inquisitor of the Mor Ardain Empire, who is believed to be the Empire's most powerful driver. She creates a truce with Rex's group to find Lilla, an early version of Poppy built by Tora's father and grandfather, with them then joining the group to help capture Banner after revealing his plan of mass producing an army of artificial blades. Number 973, Zeke, a 1-slot novice primary attack spirit, a guy who challenges Rex's group to fight him and his blade Pandoria multiple times for control of the Aegis, who's later revealed to be the Crown Prince of Tantal, with him going after the Aegis due to being an envoy for Indol, with him joining the group during their trip to Indol, sticking around after Pyra is captured by the terrorist group Torna. Number 1458, Pyra Fighter. This being a fighter spirit for Pyra that was added after her inclusion in Smash as a DLC character, hence why she has 2 spirits due to the previously mentioned support spirit having been in the game since launch. Number 1459, Mithra Fighter. Similar story to Pyra, where despite already having a support spirit since launch, Mithra got a second fighter spirit when she was later added as a DLC character, with a similar thing also happening with the ARMS character Min Min. Number 1460, Rex Master Driver, a 3-slot legend primary shield spirit with the effect Critical Health Stats Up. This being Rex's appearance later in the game when he becomes a Master Driver, allowing him to connect with all blades. Number 1461, Laura, a 1-slot advanced support spirit with the effect physical attack up. A minor character in Xenoblade 2's main story who was the driver for the blades Jin and Haze prior to her death. The artwork is taken from the Torna expansion where she was the main protagonist. The expansion showing her journey to help defeat Malos during the Aegis War around 500 years before the events of the main story. Number 1462, Amalthus, a 2-slot ace support spirit with the effect First Strike Advantage. The Praetor of Indal, who was the first person to climb the World Tree, but when he got to Elysium, he found nothing but an empty white void, with him bringing back 2 core crystals as proof he got there, which ended up being the cause of Mithra and Malos. Number 1463, Jin, a 2-slot ace primary neutral spirit with the effect Speed Up. The leader of the terrorist organization Tora, who wants to use the Aegis in order to wipe out humanity from existence, with it also later being revealed that Jin is a blade who gain immense power thanks to being a flesh eater. Number 1464, Malos, a 1-slot legend primary neutral spirit with the effect battering items power up. The second in command of Torna and the main antagonist of Xenoblade 2, being revealed to be an Aegis blade just like Pyro and Mithra, who ended up developing a hatred of humans and a desire to destroy them from his driver. And number 1465, Numa, a 2-slot legend support spirit with the effect critical healing and metal. Pyra and Mithra's ascended form being a fusion of the two, and in turn making her the most powerful form of the Aegis blade. The art is original to Ultimate, as prior to her inclusion as a spirit, she didn't actually have any official artwork. And with that, we've covered everything from Xenoblade Chronicles, with the series being tied 11th with Street Fighter, putting it above Castlevania but below Metroid. The next video will be covering all the minor series that started on the DS, though in the meantime, the poll to vote on the topic for the episode after that is still open, with the current leader at the time of writing being Square Enix. In addition, I also want to thank you guys for both being very patient with me, as this video took a lot longer to make than it realistically should have, as well as for helping us reach the like goal on the Yakuza Explain video. So scripting for the sequel, where I attempt to explain Yakuza 2, is currently underway. So if you want to keep up with everything going on with the channel, be sure to subscribe, and thanks for watching.